Well, folks, imagine getting hit with an $8,000 ambulance bill for a trip that typically costs no more than a few $100.
Ouch, it happened to one local man, so he got Kane in his corner. News 12's Walt Kane looks at the issue and explains what to do if it happens to you.
Susan and George Spies were high school sweethearts.
We were married a little over 30 years at that point.
But in January, Susan passed away from COPD, leaving behind George and their two sons.
She was suffering the effects of COPD for probably 3 to 4 years and just gradually got worse and worse. And then the last 12 months were completely debilitating.
In her last few months, Susan went back and forth between St. Mary's Hospital and different rehab centers, each time by ambulance. But when the bills started to come in, George realized 2 trips cost a lot more than the others, over $4,000 each, and insurance wouldn't cover them. George is a career firefighter and EMT, but he says he's never seen anything like this.
I've been in this business for 35 years now, and these bills are outrageous.
October 7th, 2021, St. Mary's transports Susan to rehab using its own ambulance service. The cost? Over $4,000. A month later, the rehab center sends her back to the hospital, but with a different ambulance service. And this time, the bill is just $328. On November 30th, the hospital again sends her to long-term care. And once again, the hospital's ambulance company charges 10 times more. George says he contacted the hospital's billing company, and his own insurance provider multiple times, but never got anywhere.
They sent me to collection. Actually, they're sending my wife to collection. It's in her name.
I say, don't get in that ambulance if you can help yourself, okay, because it's going to cost you plenty.
Patient advocate Anne-Marie McElwain says what happened to the Spies could happen to you. Congress outlawed most surprise medical bills in January, but not for ambulance rides. And she says once patients are in this situation, there aren't a lot of options.
I can tell you from experience that you can negotiate. Usually you can come together on something that's a better place for you and acceptable to them.
Kane In Your Corner contacted St. Mary's to ask about the Spies' expensive ambulance rides. And within hours, the hospital called George, took him out of collections, and dramatically reduced his bills from over $8,000 to under $800. A hospital spokesperson saying what happened to the Spies was simply a misstep. As for George, he says he's thrilled with the result, but says it never should have come to this.
The day you sent the email, all of a sudden my bills are changed. How many other hundreds, if not thousands, go unnoticed?
In Your Corner, Walt Kane, News 12.
I could somewhat relate to that. Not $8,000. I got a $1,000 ambulance bill when my wife had called when I had COVID to take me to the hospital. When I got home, I got the $1,000 bill, and on the back it explained how to deal with the insurance company to get that paid for, which I did. I was surprised. They just explained it, dealt with the insurance company. It took 2 tries. They paid $500 each time, took care of the bill. To get an $8,000 bill, whoa, that's a lot of stress.
But as you said, it pays to be proactive because you read the back of that bill. You found a way not to get stuck.
I also told her, don't ever call the ambulance again. You want me in the hospital, drive me there yourself. And I know a lot of people can't do that.
Exactly.
But that ambulance bill can sure stress a person out, as we saw just there. So good job by Walt.
And who knew they cost that much?
Yeah.